Welcome to Laying Fallow. I'm Donna Von Bruning. Today I speak with Bhavana Andra. Bhavana was a communications major at Savannah Arts Academy. She stayed home and attended Georgia Southern Savannah campus that first year. Eventually, she transferred to the University of Georgia her junior year and plans to graduate this December 2024 with a degree in computer science. So I start with your quote. Did you look at your quote? No one has. And then everyone freaks out. They're like, oh my God, what is that? So we're going to start with your quote. Senior year was filled with hardships and obstacles. I faced the loss of the person that supported me the most, my brother Vic. He was diagnosed and died within 6 months. I lost the happiness that comes from prom, film fest, and senior activities. But when it seemed like all the bad days would not stop coming, I learned that no one can help you see the rainbow at the end of a thunderstorm better than yourself. I realized that there are things that are thrown at you and push you down, but you have to dust yourself off and pick yourself up. At the end of the day, these obstacles made me stronger, and I will never neglect to see the importance in a simple goodbye.
Wow, that's crazy that I wrote that, because I would not have thought that I wrote that.
Why? What makes you think you didn't write it?
I don't know. It's just kind of like...
It's very profound.
Yeah.
It's mature.
Yeah, it's very mature. It does not seem like...
Do you not feel that mature?
I mean, I do. It's just like that was a lot to write for like a...
High school senior?
Yeah, high school senior.
Mm-hmm. Well, first tell me where you are in the world. Like, what's happened to you the past 4 years?
What's happened
Well, where are you at school is really what I mean.
Oh,
like,
okay.
How did you get there?
Well, I started off at Georgia Southern, and then I transferred to UGA. So I'm up there right now. This is my 4 year and a half. So like one more semester. Like that's the semester that I'm at. But yeah, after that, I should be graduated.
So has the journey of the past 4 years been what you thought it would be or not at all?
Definitely not what I thought it was gonna be. I feel like whenever I was in like Savannah, I feel like things were more of my control. But like once I like made it out of Savannah and went to like Athens, there's a lot of like things that was not in my control. So there was new stuff that I had to deal with and things were unexpected. But honestly, nothing like too horrible though.
What was out of your control? What did you feel like was out of your control?
I feel like for me, a big thing was like roommates. I struggled a lot with roommates. Cause like, I don't know, I guess when I was in Savannah, I was like, oh, people are like all very nice and everything. And I feel like roommates, everyone comes from different places. So I don't know, they're definitely people that I didn't mesh with at first. And I thought that I was gonna mesh with. But I would say roommates, and then there was this friend group that I had, and they were fine. I just think that they had different interests than me, so like we kind of went our separate ways from that. But now I have like a good group of like people that I hang out with right now.
Did you move into an apartment at UGA, or did you what did you do?
I moved straight into an apartment.
Okay, so you moved. Okay, yeah. Did you take over a sublease? Is that what happened? Or
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you move in and you're like, who are these people? I don't even know you.
Yeah.
So you talked about friends. I'm going to skip around here because you brought it up. How do you think personal relationships of you and your peers have been affected by COVID? And what I mean by this is, do you feel like you held on too long to those high school relationships, or other people did, or was easier to let go? You just mentioned, moving through friend groups.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if it was necessarily COVID, but I feel like there was a lot of, like, because I kept up with, like, SHU and stuff, but, like, we kind of went our separate ways whenever, like, school started and stuff, but I haven't really kept close to any of my high school friends, but I don't know if COVID took any effect in that.
Maybe the natural order.
Yeah, just
life.
I think, like, people were growing into who they were becoming, and that was different from who I wanted to become, and they just kind of went their way and I went my way. But
how did COVID affect your ability to make new friends in college? When you went to, because you were home, right? The first.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you intend to go to college and break free? Did you find it difficult? Like, was it hard to let go of people, or was it easier? Like, just kind of talk to me about that a little bit.
I think, well, for COVID, whenever I was going to Georgia Southern, because that was more of it when it was like prevalent, that was when we were hybrid. For me, making friends at Georgia Southern really was not bad because, like, most people are open to that. So I made a couple of friends at Georgia Southern, but those didn't, like, last since I didn't stay at Georgia Southern. Now at UGA, that was harder. I did make some friends. It was, like, 2 friends the first semester I was there. And that didn't really, like, turn into anything crazy. It was more, like, isolating. I was kind of, like, more to myself. I had my roommates, but one of my roommates I just didn't like. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say, like, the first semester at UGA, like, it was more like I spent most of my time by myself. Not by choice, but, like, that's how it worked out. But second semester hit, and I started, like, making more friends.
How did you do that? Did you intentionally do it?
No, it wasn't intentional. I met, some girl was in my apartment complex, and she needed help with her groceries, so I helped her with her groceries. And then she was like, oh my gosh, we should hang out. So we started hanging out, and she introduced me to other friends. But that's the friend group that I don't hang out with anymore. The friends that I hang out with now is, you remember Graham Hendrickson, right?
I know the name.
Graham was dating Ellie Bradell. They were dating, and then they, like, broke up. But we still stay in touch, and that's how we became friends. And then other friends are from class now that live, like, down the street, so I hang out with them regularly.
Did you intentionally put yourself out there? Or did you just let it happen?
For Ellie, yes.
Yeah.
Because Graham set up a date for me and Ellie. And then, so then we started hanging out like that. And then she introduced me to all of her other friends, and that's how that friend group was made. The friend from school, that was not intentional. It was pretty much natural. We, like, started talking in class, and then I figured out she was, like, right down the street, so we go over to each other's houses pretty regularly.
So that was it.
Yeah.
And the reason I asked that is quite a few people have said that because of COVID and being stuck at home or being online or whatever, that they really had to, like, think about it and put themselves out there. Like, it could have been really easy to just sit at home by yourself.
Yeah.
Did you find that too? Like, that you had to be open?
Yes. I did that when the first semester at UGA. I was trying to, like, put myself out there because the way that I made friends at Georgia Southern was, like, reaching out through GroupMe and saying, like, hey, do you want to, like, study for this test? I would do that the first semester at UGA, and I just didn't get, like, a response back, or people weren't really receptive to it. So, like, it was, like, me trying, and then it wasn't working. So that's when that was when, like, the self-isolation was kind of, like, happening. I was just like, okay, well, then we'll just figure it out. Whatever's supposed to happen is supposed to happen. Like, there's more people at the school, so yeah.
You didn't let it get you down too much?
No, I didn't.
No, you just kind of moved on.
Yeah.
So in your quote, you said you will never neglect to see the importance of a goodbye. Tell me about the goodbyes and the loss of the last 4 years. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say, what's your biggest loss is what I ask people, and I know it was your brother.
Yes. Wait, what was the question?
In your quote, you said you will never neglect to see the importance of goodbye.
Yeah.
Tell me about the goodbyes of the last 4 years.
The only goodbyes that I really have had to say is, like people from Savannah, but, like, I haven't really said many goodbyes. Vic, that one's kind of, like, difficult because he's buried here at Bonaventure, and, like, back then when I, like, wanted to feel connected to him, I'd just go over there and just, like, talk his ear off.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't have that anymore, so, like, it's kind of, like, out of sight, out of mind. So I haven't really been thinking about that too much. I think about it when, like, his birthday comes around or his anniversary comes around, but I don't know, that doesn't really come up too much.
Well, tell me a little bit about grief. Like, what has your...
Well, I've learned that grief is not a destination. It's definitely not a destination. You just can't get there. It comes whenever it wants to, and it goes away whenever it wants to. I feel like one thing about grief is, like, I feel like a lot of people don't want to deal with it, but I was, like, the exact opposite. I hate conflict, and I really just, or not hate conflict, I just, like, don't like feeling uneasy. So I just tried my best to, like, that's when I, like, started going to, like, Bonaventure a lot and just, like, talking, and that was just, like a good outlet for me to just be like, how this happened. Also, oh yeah, I forgot, from 4 years ago, I'm a Christian now. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's a big switch, because what are your parents? Are they...
They're Hindu.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Oh, how did they take that? So that's another goodbye.
Yeah, that is another goodbye. I don't know if I was ever, like, really...
Did they practice, or was it more cultural? Like, I always tell people I'm culturally Catholic.
Yeah,
like, people are culturally Jewish. Like,
yeah.
I was raised it, but
Yeah.
I don't really...
My parents were definitely more... They, like, practiced it a lot more, and they tried to get me and Vic into it a lot. For me, it was more cultural. Like, I really liked it. Like, I liked it, but some of the things really just did not resonate with me. It just, like, wasn't playing me the way that I wanted to be. It just was weird to me. And then I think me and Vic were always interested in Christianity. We always, like, talked about it. We were interested in it. And then started going to church, and then started reading more of the Bible, and then just trying to figure out, like, the truth behind what was being said and stuff. And, like, there's no, like, definitive answer about it, but I was like, I feel like you'd be putting yourself at risk even if you, like, didn't believe. Like, if you, it's like a 50-50 chance. Like, if you, like, believe, then, you know what they say? I feel like it's like, if you believe and then, like, it doesn't happen, then you're at risk. Or, like, if you don't believe and it doesn't, like, you know, like, how people believe in heaven and stuff. Like, if I didn't believe, then that would hurt me. And if I did believe and heaven wasn't real, like, it would hurt me too. So it's like, at the end of the day, like, which one would I want to pick? And, like,
your hedging your bets, right?
Yeah. I was just like, I mean, and also, like, I feel like I felt like more of a connection there. I feel like there's, like, a lot of disconnect with Hinduism, just because also growing up here, like, Hinduism is hard to kind of keep up with, and it's
not prevalent in Savannah, would you say? Where, like, if you were somewhere like in New York City or Philadelphia and there was a massive community.
Right, yeah.
Is that what you're meaning?
Yeah. I would say that. And, like, my mom would, like, try to take us to, like, classes, and, like, there's, like, so many different languages in India, and, like, the people that we went to classes with spoke a different language than us, so, like, me and Vic were just like
we don't know what's going on.
Yeah. We don't want to know what's going on. We don't want to go back. But I would say, like, for grief, I wouldn't say that Christianity really helped me with grief necessarily towards Vic. It made me feel better about other stuff, but there's never, like, closure with Vic. But, like, I don't think there'll ever be closure with Vic.
It's just the new normal.
Yeah. It's just the new normal, and, like, who knows, maybe later down the road I'll figure out what was, like, the purpose of all of that. But yeah.
Do you believe that everything happens for a purpose or a reason? How do you feel about that?
I think, I don't know. Back then, yes, I did. I was like, there is a reason for everything. But now it's just like, I don't know. I don't think that everything happens for like, certain things do, but I don't think everything happens for a reason. Like, I think this is life, and it's not always rainbows and sparkles. So, like, maybe something happens and it's supposed to not be good. And maybe that just, like, builds you up as a person. That was not intent, but, like, that builds your character, and then you grow from that. And yeah, I don't think that necessarily everything happens for a reason.
Like, there's a little bit of a randomness to it, and Christianity helps you cope.
Yes, it does, for sure. I think it's, like, nice knowing that, like, for me, I'm a control freak, so, like, not having control of a situation is kind of drives me crazy. But having, like, knowing that, like, okay, God, like, is going to take care of it, whether that's, like, my way or his way, like, he's got it. I don't really need to, like, worry about it, even though it's, like, kind of hard to release that control. But, like, it's kind of nice knowing, like, someone's on your, like, a higher power is, like, on your side and, like, looking out for you and stuff.
Do you go to church up in Athens? Have you found a church up there?
I have bounced around to different churches. I really like Compassion down here. And I already talked to someone. They're like, you're not going to find Compassion up in Athens, so just need to branch out. And I found this church called Watkinsville First Baptist. And I went a couple times. I do like it, but I don't know if I necessarily would be, like, completely plugged into church. Like, I kind of...
Right now.
Just want to, like, go learn about the Bible, do all that stuff, and then go back home.
Are you in a Bible study at school?
I am, but it is with only one person. Yeah.
Let's switch gears. Tell me, what has been the greatest lesson of the past 4 years?
Greatest lesson in the past 4 years? I don't know.
What have you learned about yourself?
What have I learned about myself? I feel like Because there's like a lot of lessons that I've learned in the past 4 years.
Name them.
One of them, I would say, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah.
That's the same.
Yeah. I feel like whenever, like, starting friendships back up at UGA, like, I kind of, like, tried really hard on, like, one and, like, making sure, like, it worked and, like, giving it my all. And it was just, like, kind of seemed like I was forcing it a little bit. And I was, like, if that friendship didn't, like, go the way that I wanted it to, it kind of, like, was like, oh, well, that sucked. Like, what else am I supposed to move on to or something like that? So there's that one. And that really helps me, like, also put, like, it makes it, like, less serious if I, like, put less things in one basket. Like, and it allows me to, like, explore new things and stuff. And then another thing I would say, life moves on. Like, yeah, I would say, like, things happen and they might suck, but I mean, I fully have control over what I want to do next, you know? Like, if I, like, want to, well, I think sulking is good for an extent, but it's, like, that I can, like, go back out and, like, figure out what I like. Oh, yeah, I think I learned a lot about myself during the 4 years because I had to, like, it's not like I could, like, call up people from, well, most of the people from Savannah, like, they went their separate ways, so, like, I didn't have, like, necessarily, like, people to talk to often. And, like, my parents and I don't really have that relationship. Oh, and our relationship got better after college, but I feel like most people say that about their parents. They're like, yeah, our relationship got much stronger after college. But I'd say, wait, what was I just saying?
You were just saying, oh God, now you made me forget. You were talking about moving on and turning the page.
Yeah.
And that
you had to, like, I had to, like, learn it by myself.
You had learned a lot about yourself. That's what you were saying, yes.
Yeah. I had to, like, kind of, like, figure out which way, like, it was, like, a lot of, like, learning to do things by myself, which was good for me because I feel like when I was in Savannah and I was surrounded by the same people, I kind of depended on them a lot.
Well, sure, your high school crew.
Yeah, right. And, like, the neighborhood group, I would depend on them a lot. And then, you know, everyone went their separate ways. And I don't think I was ready for that, but it happened. And I was like, well, it's time to move on. And then I kind of learned what I liked and what I didn't like about friendships and, like, what I liked and didn't like about not about myself, but, like, about other things. I learned about, like, hobbies that I like and, like, I just learned a lot about myself.
Building yourself up.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, talk about these relationships that you had or whatever, do you think losing your brother fundamentally, it obviously changed you, but fundamentally changed you so that maybe some of those relationships, like, people that haven't suffered that kind of loss simply can't understand or relate?
I do feel that way.
I feel like maybe that puts you in a different place.
Yeah, I feel like, yes, that does. I don't know if it necessarily affects the friendships that I have here, but I feel like it shifted my perspective on, I guess, just life, because, like, things happen abruptly, but I don't think it necessarily affected the friendships here. But it's hard for other people to see, like, my point of view about that, and it's kind of sucks because I can't connect with people like that through that outlet, but I can connect with, like, Cassie. I don't know if you know who Cassie is. She lives here. She's one of the people from the neighborhood that I stay close with, but I'll have, like, those friends and those people that I can connect with because they knew Vic and everything.
Yeah.
And they experienced that same thing. Yeah, I don't think it necessarily affects the friendships that I have now or relationships that I have now as much because we don't really talk about that. Like, it's never, like, a topic of conversation. It's more like me telling the story, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry that happened, and then that's that.
He had leukemia?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had leukemia.
Okay. We're going to switch gears here for a second. When I went to go do research, when I was coming up with all these interview ideas and questions, there's all kinds of academic studies about the little kids and how they can't read, and now, like, kindergartners, and because of the mask, they didn't develop, like, social cues and the isolation with the little kids. And then there's all kinds of information about the class of 2020 college because they graduated into recession and there were no jobs and, you know, all of that.
Yeah.
There's nothing about you guys.
Really?
There's really nothing, a little bit, but, like, not a ton, but what they did say, and this is kind of overarching, that anyone in school that lost a graduation or something, what they experienced in COVID was trauma. They labeled it trauma. Would you call what you lost or they experienced trauma, or do you think it was trauma for other people? Or is that kind of too strong of a word?
I don't know. I don't know if I would call it, what's like the definition of trauma?
Right?
I don't know. I guess I didn't necessarily see it as trauma, but because trauma is like something like,
Well, trauma's losing your brother way too young.
yeah, right.
You know?
Like it's kind of like, I guess like trauma is like no, because people can relate to trauma. Because I'm thinking about trauma as like something like you kind of take with everywhere, you know. But like I don't think like losing that part, like as far as school wise and like graduation I actually like really liked because we had our motorcade.
Right.
Not everyone else had that, which like I understand, like they had a different and difficult time. But like we had our motorcade and like that was more fulfilling than like a regular graduation would be to me.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, that was so cool and more personal than,
Yeah.
especially because some of them have gone through graduation, college graduation, and they're like,
yeah, right, exactly. And that's definitely like I was excited for graduation from Savannah Arts, but also like I knew it was just gonna be like a big like just like a big ceremony. But like having like Hefe there and like Mr. Locke literally in my neighborhood, like doing my
tassel.
Yeah, and then having the people that I wouldn't normally think that would be at my graduation, like
I know your neighborhood kind of threw a party.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, we did. We did throw a party. And yeah, that was definitely like, that was very satisfying. It really like, it was satisfying and it was more than satisfying. It was great. Like I really enjoyed that moment. And like me and Sydney, we opened up our like letters we wrote like freshman year letters and then we opened up our letters together.
Was that a class thing or you guys just did it?
Me and Sydney just did it.
You guys are so nerdy. I love it.
But we opened that together. So that was like a good experience that we shared together during our graduation, which we probably wouldn't be able to do if we were at like the Civic Center getting.
Right.
But that was great.
So talking about graduation, so you didn't experience that trauma. I mean, I would say most people said that they thought other people might have thought it was trauma, but you guys didn't feel like it was traumatic to lose all of your senior year like that, the end of your senior year.
Yeah, it wasn't. And it was also because it was like really towards the end. Like,
yeah.
It was like maybe we had like a month or two left or a month and a half left. And it was like the only thing I was truly looking forward to was Film Fest and prom. And it sucked that we didn't get that. But also like graduation made up for it to me. Like I really liked the way that we did that. And
well, thanks. It was
yeah.
It's a lot of work.
I bet.
Talking about graduation, so it sounds to me like you really appreciated the tradition that you got. It wasn't the typical, but you appreciated it.
Yeah.
So those milestone moments that you did lose, and losing that like true college freshman experience, because you probably would have went away maybe, I don't know, had it everybody's kind of plans changed. Do you find tradition, is it something you're more flexible about, or is it something you appreciate more and you're more committed to? And by tradition, I might mean, you know, what's your UGA graduation going to feel like for you? Or, you know, things, holidays, birthdays. Like, talk to me about tradition. Do you hold on to them more now because you lost some of it? Or are you a little bit more flexible and you're like, you know?
I would say I'm a little bit more flexible now because, like I said, I was like a control freak and like I didn't really have a control over the situation for like prom or film fest or anything like that. It stopped and everything stopped by itself. And like continuing on, like I really don't have too much control over, because like I feel like I'd always plan like Friendsgiving, which made up for me because like our family really doesn't do like Thanksgiving or anything like that. So like being more flexible during holidays is kind of what like I'm kind of accustomed to, because we celebrate things very differently than everybody else does. So I kind of have to be a little bit flexible, but it's kind of nice because, like I said, I would like plan Friendsgiving and everything, but now it's like people invite me to, like people that like I wouldn't expect to invite me to Thanksgiving, they invite me to their Thanksgiving or like their Christmas, or like I'll like this Christmas I went all the way to Texas to go see my cousins, which is like something that I haven't done in a very long time, but we had the greatest time together, and it was just, like, flexible, and we didn't do, like, a normal Christmas. We just, like, we more celebrated New Year's than anything, like.
So it sounds to me like you embrace any tradition that comes your way.
Yeah, it's just, like, I like togetherness. I like the meeting of people. Like, if
that's what tradition is to you.
Yeah, tradition is just, like, people coming together, having a good time, experiencing relationships. That's what tradition is to me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Talk to me about social media. What role does it play in your life?
Oh gosh, social media. I don't think that I should be on social media.
You're not the only one.
I just feel like for me, social media can be very toxic, especially during COVID. Because COVID, you're kind of stuck with social media, and you're stuck scrolling, and this is all these people, like, feeding you things every single day. And it's like seeing people on your Instagram doing these, like, fun stuff, and, like, you're at home, like, it just, like, puts a lot of emotions that you wouldn't be thinking if you weren't on your phone and going through social media. I think it's nice to, like, look at social media and be like, oh my gosh, like, look, they graduated from high school, or, like, oh my gosh, they got married. I was, like, rooting for them, or, like, I think it's nice to, like, see, like, people, like, those connections. But I think social media can very much be abused to where, like, you're just scrolling through your day, and that messes up your, like, attention span, and then, like, also, like, things that you wouldn't be thinking about normally, and now you think about more, and if that could be good or bad. Like, I don't know. For me, I have been on and off social media for the past 2 years. Like, I get off social media, and then I'm like, oh, I'm bored, let me get back on social media, and then I, like, go into a loop of, like, scrolling through my phone for, like, 4 hours of the day, and I'm like...
The doom scroll.
Yeah, literally. And it's not even, like, I'm not even, like, consuming any of it. Like, I'm just scrolling. Like, I'm not even, like, watching them. I don't know. For me, social media is toxic, but, like, in moderation, it can be good. I don't have control. I got self-control with social media. I just, like, would be scrolling all day.
You don't believe how many of you said that to me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's surprising.
Yeah, people are in one or two camps. They seem to be either off of it or can use it, like, here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Or they are, like, doom scrolling and they know it and they don't know how to stop it. Like, and they're exactly what you said. Like, I'm not doing anything in particular.
Yeah. It's just
just there.
Yeah, it's just there. I feel like the people that are kind of like their job is not their job. Like, I feel like most sororities, like, I guess, like, I feel like most sorority girls have to, like,
you have to keep it up.
Yeah, you have to keep it up.
I have to keep it up for my job.
Yeah, right.
And I'm going to tell you, I haven't, and probably in the past year, and it's dramatically affected my work.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So there are some cases where, like, I wish I could get off of it because I don't care about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't have a choice. Talk to me about dating and sex. And I'm going to ask you this because a couple things. A study came out saying that your generation has a lot less sex than my generation did.
Yeah.
You're like, that would be true. And there's a whole host of reasons behind that. They're, thinking.
Yeah.
What, and I'm not talking about you personally.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, your people, like, the people you're around. Like, what's your observation about dating and, because of the dating apps and...
Yeah. I would say, I feel like dating apps are pretty prevalent. I don't know, I, like, don't use that, so I don't really know, like, what is, like, the normal intention using dating apps. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's, like, to actually date someone or if it's, like...
A hookup.
Yeah, like a hookup or just, like, a fun night or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if I really have noticed, like, a decrease in... Like, I would say I am not the person to go out and do that stuff, but, like, I don't... Like, if people want to do that, that's good for them.
Yeah, just not your experience.
Yeah, just not my experience. It's just, like, just, like, don't lean that way. But I don't know. I feel like... I don't know what the definition of, like, less sex would be. Because
you're like, well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I would say probably, the way I interpreted that was like this. When I was in college, and that's like, when I walked up to school in the snow 3 feet without shoes on, I hate to always say that kind of stuff, but, like, when I was in college, there were no phones.
Mm-hmm.
Your only way to meet people was to actually walk up to them.
Yeah.
And talk to them.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of intermixing.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me, just from these interviews and talking to people, that people don't do that anymore. They rely on social media.
Yeah.
They don't really approach people and talk to people. They don't intermix friend groups.
Yeah.
You know, they're not willing to, like, go outside of that. And guys certainly don't walk up to girls anymore and put themselves out there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like for the most part, most people do, like, meet through social, like, I feel like, I'm just, like, thinking about one person in particular.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, honestly, our generation, I feel like they meet through social media, but there's really not, like, a connection there. And it's kind of, yeah, I guess, like, I don't know. I feel like most people that are my age kind of, and maybe I'm wrong, kind of, like, want to meet someone, like,
The old-fashioned way.
the old-fashioned way.
Everybody has said it.
Yeah, like, not from a dating app or from...
Well, you guys like social media, dating, sex, all that kind of stuff. You guys are, one, you're digital natives, so you're the first digital natives. Like, it's been around since you were born.
Yeah.
And two, but you are also kind of your age in particular, maybe 23, 22, 21. You were the last kids that had phones in high school or whatever before social media really got a hold.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you had Snapchat. Yes, you had Instagram. And at the end, you had TikTok. But the algorithms were not there.
Yeah. Right.
And so you weren't really addicted to it. I feel like that was my observation. And that is kind of what people have said. Like, and then people that have younger siblings or no younger kids are like, holy cow. A couple of them called them iPad kids. Like, they're so bad.
Yeah.
So you guys are kind of the last people holding on to.
Yeah, I definitely see the difference because some people in my friend group right now, they're younger, and I feel like they have a hard time getting off their phone. Like, they're usually on there, and, like, I think they notice that it's a problem, but they don't see it as, like, a need to change. Like, they kind of, like, see it as, like, I mean, like, this is what everybody else is doing. Like, this is normal.
Yeah.
For us, I think...
You got to dinner with people and you put your phone away.
Yeah, like, I crave to, like, have moments where I don't look at my phone, you know? Like, I don't, like, things to, like, keep my mind busy. And you're right. I feel like... Because, like, before TikTok... Do you remember Musical.ly?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Before TikTok, it was Musical.ly. And I remember me and Cassie... Actually, me and Sydney, too, would make Musical.lys all the time. But it never had, like, a hold over us. Like
right.
I would always want to, like, rather, like, go outside and, like, play basketball in the front yard or something like that. It never, but now, like, but that's also another thing about it is, like, I'm kind of sticking more to my phone is because there's not as much things to do with other people now. Like, I feel like everyone's gone to that age where, like, life's happening, things are busy, like,
you can't, job, school.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. So the past 4 years have thrust social issues to the forefront for you guys. From Black Lives Matter to the Me Too movement, Roe versus Wade, the war on Hamas, anti-Semitism. Have all of these things made you more empathetic towards those types of things, the social issues, or have they desensitized you? Because it's so much.
For me, I would say it's desensitized me. For me, when I was scrolling through TikTok, all I saw was, like, Israel and Gaza. And, like, I didn't have any information on it, but I'd be scrolling through TikTok that is one, it's, like, support Gaza or, like, support Israel. And it's just going back and forth. And I was just, like, I have no information on this. Like, and, like, people are, like, telling me to go one way or the other. And there's just, like, I couldn't make an opinion for myself. And it was just, like, it was just too much. It was just, like, it was just being fed to me, and it was just too much, and it kind of has desensitized me to, like, most things. And also, like, it's, like, people telling you what to think about it. I feel like y'all had that, too, but it was, like, through different news channels. Like, I don't know, like, people would say, like, Fox News and, like, other news. Like, yeah.
We did not have that growing up.
Oh, okay.
The news was very, there were 3 stations. The news came out at 6 o'clock at night. Everybody got the same report.
Okay.
You didn't go to Fox News to hear the conservative side and then go to, CNN to hear the MSNBC. I don't know why. I can't keep up with it. I just know, is more liberal. Like, it was very centrist.
Right.
And you guys don't have that. I don't know how I can't keep up with it.
Right, exactly. And since there is so many opinions out there, and for me, like, if I wanted to find just, like, the bare facts of the situation, like, what is actually happening, I'd have to, like, go out of my way to find it. Like, it's not something that is necessarily fed to me like every other, like it's usually opinionated news
Right.
that I get.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not just like the facts. It's just not the facts of it. But that has desensitized me.
I feel like trying to find the facts is like doing a research paper.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just like, and it's like, I don't enjoy reading either. So like, I'm just like, I don't want to even like go into it. And it's honestly like, for me, it shied me away from like voting. Cause like, I don't really know what's going on, but I just like see on social media, like a bunch of like Joe Biden falling off a bike and then another one of like Trump getting up with his fist in the air after getting shot in the air. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't even want to like research about anything because it's just like, it's very extreme now. So
You are, I'm going to say only one person has said anything other than desensitized.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I wonder sometimes if the media or whoever realizes what they're creating, like a bunch of disconnected people that don't care. So there is a phenomenon called the quarter-century crisis, in which 25-year-olds look back, they turn 25 and they're not where they thought they'd be. It's like a period of disillusionment, uncertainty, questioning, kind of like a midlife crisis, but you're 25. Do you think because of what your class went through, that they were kind of thrust into the reality of life pretty quick, of not getting? Do you think you guys are more apt to experience that or less?
I don't know about more or less, but I definitely think that all of us did experience like a midlife crisis. Because all you had was, like, yourself, you know? Like, all you had was yourself during, like, COVID and you just kind of had to, like, sit there. Because that's why I feel like a lot of people changed after COVID. Because, like, you had to sit there, you had to do things by yourself. You weren't always distracted by going out with your friends or, like, going to work or anything. You were stuck in a house doing whatever you had to do to get out of your head. And honestly, you probably didn't get out of your head and like you had to think about things. And I feel like that was very beneficial because I feel like a lot of people found themselves through COVID. I think a lot of people also, like, COVID definitely did damage on them, but I think they like definitely broke out of it after COVID had dissipated and like, or it's not gone, but like,
but the crisis dissipated.
Yeah, the crisis dissipated. But I definitely think that everyone just had to like deal with that. I don't know if anyone would have like a 25 midlife crisis, and I don't really know what that looks like. What would like...
Well, it kind of you kind of answered the question because you feel like everybody went through it already. And that's kind of what I was looking for. Yeah. It just kind of, you wake up when you're 25 and maybe you think you're supposed to be married and you're not married. Or, you're in a job and it's not quite what you thought it would be. And you're like, this was not at all.
Right.
The expectation of having it all together at 25.
Yeah, right.
Is brutal.
I agree. I think some will definitely experience that. And I think that some people are still experiencing that now. But I feel like most people got a wake-up call when COVID hit. And they were like, had to sit down and figure out like what they wanted and like who they are. And I think it benefited people. I don't think it benefited everybody, but I think COVID had a silver lining to it.
So a couple more questions.
Okay.
What do you think people misunderstand about 22-year-olds today? And by people, I mean people my age.
I don't know. 22-year-olds today, what do you guys think? I don't know. What's like...
You're like the second person. What do you guys think? I mean, do you want me to tell you what some people have said?
Yeah.
Okay, so some people have said that people misunderstand. They assume that you're lazy, that you're smarter than people think you are.
Okay.
That you're savvier than people think you are.
Tech savvy or just like...
But definitely tech savvy. That came up a lot.
Okay. I would say we're tech savvy. I feel like this generation, we were the ones to kind of help everybody else, like, figure out technology. Now everyone else that are coming up behind us are obviously much more tech savvy than us. But we're definitely tech savvy. I agree with that. But also a computer science major. So...
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah. So maybe that's like through personal experience.
Yeah.
That I say that I'm tech savvy. Lazy, now... I'm a little bit lazy. I'm not gonna I'm a little bit lazy, but I think that, I don't know, I just feel like lazy is, right now I feel like there's like a big saying about being productive and just like getting everything done at like while you're young, and I agree with that, but I feel like I think there needs to be a big emphasis on like balance, because I feel like right now, at least at UGA, it's pretty competitive. You kind of like have to be on top of everything, and there's not really room to just like rest, and I feel like rest is important. So I feel like, I guess we're defined as like, it's like, I think there's like, yes, we're lazy, but I don't think that's like lazy. I feel like it's just like we're not,
You guys appreciate
right, we're not trying to like be
the downtime.
yeah, we're not trying to be Bill Gates, or we're not trying to, I mean, some of us are, but like we also enjoy, I actually think that our generation was, at least our class, there's some like impressive people in our class. There's like, there's imperishable people in other people's classes, but like there's people doing big things in our class that there's like a numerous amount. Like there's like people that went to Yale, and then other like big colleges, and like, I don't know. I just feel like, yes, we're lazy, but I don't think it's like lazy. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying more like my generation, so, you know, your mom's age, right? We were kind of sold that we could have it all. You could have the career and the kids, and because of it, we did both and burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, found out like that's not really true. Like there's a price to pay for all of it.
Right.
You know, either you're outsourcing your whole life just to accomplish all that.
Right.
And what did you really enjoy? You know, that sort of thing. So I can appreciate where you're coming from, that you guys understand that there needs to be a little bit more balance to it.
Yeah. I just feel like that push to just like do everything all at once when you're young is just like too much, and you just kind of want to enjoy the time that you're having, and like before everything burns out.
Pace yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Before my last question, I want to ask you, is there anything that popped in your head that you wanted to talk about that I didn't ask you?
I would say like probably like my graduation date. I probably want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially like, I feel like it's not even like the younger generation. I feel like the older generation, whenever they're like, oh, have you graduated yet? Or are you graduating soon? Like, it's like May. I'm like, no, I'm graduating in December. And they're like, oh, okay. And they kind of give me that like, oh, like, don't worry, it's coming soon enough. Or like, oh, you're almost there. It kind of just seems like
you failed somehow.
Yeah, failed somehow. Or like, they kind of feel like sympathy for me, like as if like it was something bad that I'm graduating a semester later. But like for me, a large group of the computer science friends that I have now at school, they are also the ones that transferred in the same time that I did, and they're also doing computer science at the same time as me, or they're even like the people that are joined a year before, but they're on the same track as I am. And I think that at UGA it's like, I don't know if it was like a 5-year or something like that, but everyone's on like the same track. And I guess like if there's like advice that I had to give to like anybody about like all of that, is like everyone's at their own pace. Everyone's at their own pace. I think you should do an interview 4 years later, because like I know that like, because like college is the last time you're really gonna meet people like that. So I'm really curious to see how everyone is like post grad.
Okay, last question. What are you going to do with your one big life?
What am I gonna do?
You're looking back on your life, and there's the one thing you're most proud of, or you wanted to accomplish.
One thing that I'd probably be most proud of is like getting through obstacles. Like just like change. Like I hated change. Change was the scariest thing to me. It sucked. Didn't want any part of it. I've gotten very better at handling that and understanding feelings and what I want, and just like I know myself better as a person. Like what I want out of life right now, I would say just like experiencing more things, enjoying 20s, like, and like just like exploring, doing new things, finding balance. I guess just like continuing the road that I am, and just like learning more about me and like meeting other people and all that stuff.
Are you going to try to stay in Savannah, or are you venturing out?
I really, personally, I think I've outgrown Savannah. I don't think that unfortunately, my parents would love for me to stay in Savannah.
Of course they would.
Stay in Savannah and just live under their house or their roof. But I don't know. I don't have a preference of where to go. For some reason, Michigan keeps coming to my head. There's like this YouTuber. Her name's Hannah Wolosh, and I saw her house, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a nice.
Where in Michigan does she live?
So
Good stuff.
yeah.
Well, thanks, Bhavana. I
Yes.
appreciate you coming.
Thanks for listening to Laying Fallow. Be sure to listen to the rest of the episodes, and to learn more and see the portraits from both 2020 and 2024, head over to my website, www.donnavonbruning.com, or to my Instagram, @DonnaVonBruning.